Look, the last two Jurassic World movies, they sucked. So could original screenplay writer of Jurassic Park, David Koepp, and lifelong fan of that original movie and creator of Rogue One, which was hands down the best Star Wars movie since The Empire Strikes Back and, well, since its own release as well, could Gareth Edwards save the Jurassic Park franchise? Well, the answer is, much like my parents' relationship, complicated. So in this video, we're going to get into it. Not my parents' relationship, the movie Jurassic World Rebirth. Scarlett Johansson is a mercenary called Zora Bennett. She's hired by Martin Krebs, a representative of a pharmaceutical company. Krebs claims that he wants to save billions of lives using the DNA from some dinosaurs that exist on yet another island that InGen owned and used to experiment with dinosaur DNA. I mean, that's what he claims to want to do. I think he just really wants to have enough money to buy another rare Wu-Tang Clan album. They assemble a team consisting of an even geekier Ross Geller called Dr. Henry Loomis, Duncan Kincaid, who is Zora's team leader, played by Mahershala Ali, and there are a number of other characters that they should have just been wearing red shirts. They are joined by a family who have been stranded at sea thanks to a mosasaur getting a little frisky with their boat. They are rescued and they end up tagging along on the mission, which inevitably goes wrong. The family are separated from the mercenaries, going on their own little side quest before they all manage to regroup and meet some of the results of the genetic experimentation on the island. Now, with that out of the way, here are some spoilers. I'm going to start talking about some of the things that I liked about this movie. Then I'll talk about some of the things that I didn't like about this movie before ending on my overall thoughts. So what did I like about this movie? Well, it's really well paced. It's got some really good set pieces and it's not afraid to go between sort of high stakes action, but then take a breather and give you some moments of wonder. I'll give you a couple of examples. The scene with the Titanosauruses, it was a lovely break, but also gave the characters and you, the audience, the chance to have a breather and just take in wonder of the dinosaurs. Very similar scene in Jurassic Park with the brachiosaurs. In contrast, you have the raft escape scene from the T-Rex with the family. Really high stakes action scene, really well shot, and it's lifted directly from the Jurassic Park book, and I was really grateful and really happy to finally see it on screen. I like that we've moved away from raptors and T-Rexes being the main dinosaurs. I mean, yes, there is a scene with the T-Rex chasing the raft, which I've just talked about. There is one raptor in the whole film, and it's wonderful because it gives other dinosaurs a chance to shine. And by saying that they needed to get DNA from the largest land dinosaur, the largest sea dinosaur, and the largest air dinosaur, it meant that we got to finally see something a little bit different. Lastly, I thought the actors were, across the board, great. I thought Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali just continue to show why they are such sought-after talents, but even the lesser-known ones really shone through as well. On to the things that I didn't like. It was a bit predictable. I kind of knew where it was going from the very beginning. It was obvious who was going to die. It was even kind of obvious what the story beats were going to be. Now, whilst I said that Scarlett Johansson did really well as an actress in this, I didn't really buy her turn from someone who was happy to extort her employer for more money into someone who was willing to give it all up for socialism, essentially.
And communism is no good.
That's right. Big swing and a miss.
Yeah.
There was a backstory about her losing her mother and not making the funeral, but this kind of felt tagged on and didn't really justify her change of heart throughout the film. Now, this film, like the previous Jurassic World films, really leans on to sort of the genetic manipulation side of things. And I'm not against it per se. I mean, in fact, I've probably been one of the ones who's defended it heavily, because if you've read the original Jurassic Park book, they talk about genetic manipulation. There's a whole bit of the book where they talk about manipulating the dinosaurs' DNA so that they're a little bit more docile, maybe even making smaller versions of them that people could keep as pets. While I found the Mutodons were really well done. So this is a mixture of pteranodons and raptors. They were genuinely quite terrifying. I wasn't a fan of the T-Rex. It kind of felt unnecessary. It actually almost felt so powerful that it felt fake and didn't feel scary, really. I had the feeling that I'd seen this monster before. Oh yeah, that was it. I really didn't like Xavier. This is Teresa's boyfriend. And this is not a slight against the actor. This shows that he did a fantastic job for me to not like him. But when we first meet him, he annoys Ruben, Teresa's father. Teresa says to her father there's a side that she's attracted to. And throughout the entire film, I never feel like we see that side. Yes, I know that he jumps in the water to rescue her, but even when he sort of admits to Ruben that he doesn't know why Teresa is with him, it doesn't feel like in the rest of the movie he follows it up with proving why she should, or having a moment where you go like, ah, that's why she's with him. Honestly, I would have been happy if the D-Rex got him. Overall, what are my thoughts on this film? It's not good. It's far better than the previous two films, but it just doesn't have the magic of that original film. I mean, to be fair, none of them do. However, that being said, I had a lot of fun watching this. It's one that I would happily watch again, and there was plenty to like and enjoy about it. As I said, the pacing of the film is great. It's got some really good set pieces, and it's shot beautifully as well. Has Gareth Edwards saved the Jurassic Park franchise? No. I've long said, like many others before me, that Jurassic Park should have been a one-and-done film. Though, to be fair, I will defend Lost World. I do think there is merit in that. But the thing is, the problem with the Jurassic Park franchise is that all the interesting parts of the story, the morality of whether or not they should create dinosaurs, was answered in Jurassic Park, and then the morality of who do these dinosaurs belong to and how should we treat them now that they exist was answered in The Lost World. And after that, there's not very much thematically that you can do with the story. I mean, look at Jurassic Park 3, for example. It's just a total mess of a plot. I could argue that Jurassic World did give us a working park, which was fun to see, but it was kind of just a retread of that first film again. And then, of course, the less I talk about the Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, the better. But the reality of the situation is because, as I mentioned, those first two films wrapped up the thematic, interesting storylines. That really means that Jurassic Park movies are, after the first one, are really just a series of action-adventure or horror movies with increasingly weaker plot motivations, Rebirth included. And whilst these can be fun to watch, Rebirth is fun to watch, it's enjoyable, it does feel a bit hollow. Like the studio was so preoccupied about whether or not they could make this film, they didn't stop to think if they should. This is the Jurassic Park book. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I read it 50 times in the first year that I got it. I did 2 book reports on this, and when Jurassic Park, the film, came out, I made my parents take me to see it, I think like 12 times in the cinema. I love Jurassic Park. But in the end of this book, Jurassic Park is destroyed. There are explosions all over the island to kill off all the dinosaurs and make sure it's gone for good. Maybe it's time we did the same with this movie franchise. That's my review for Jurassic World Rebirth. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel for more geeky content. Of course, all of my other socials are linked in the description below. Thanks for watching.